Hello. Yeah, I think we are good to go. So good afternoon, everyone. It's good to have all of you here. So I hope everyone can hear me. Can everyone hear me? In case anyone has a problem, kindly ping me through that chat option you have at the bottom of this box. So all can hear me fine? Uh, yeah, all right. So I guess everyone is fine. So I'll start right away. So, all right. So this webinar is a mutual initiative by Finala and Edfin. So I'll tell you a little about Finala and Edfin both. So at Finala, we have been imparting top-class investment education and guidance to retail investors. Yes, retail investors like you and me, in the form of different financial tools, research reports, widgets, and whatnot. So we'll talk about it in detail later. So Edfin, which is again a financial education company, who has been doing the same thing pretty much. So today we are going to talk in detail about one of the most feared topics in capital markets. So that is mutual funds. So mutual funds today, even today, is a very dark topic. It's a very it's full of cloud, and everyone is scared of investing in mutual funds. I have even met people who are investing in equity, that is company stocks, but even scared to invest in mutual funds. So why is that? So today we are going to dissect this issue, and we are going to talk in detail about mutual funds. So we have today with us Ashish Andani, Mr. Ashish. He's from Edfin. He's the founder of Edfin. So he will talk in detail about mutual funds, the different ways to invest in mutual funds and whatnot. So without further ado, I'll invite Mr. Ashish. So Ashish, you can take charge right from here.
Thanks, Rituraj.
Yeah.
So,
Muted.
as Rituraj told that this webinar would cover what is a mutual fund. So, let me first introduce who we are, what we do, and then we'll move on to the final webinar of mutual funds. Basically, Edfin Learning Solutions is a financial market education solutions to individuals, brokers, sub-broker, exchanges, mutual fund companies, and other financial market participants. So basically, we are into equity, derivative, commodity, currency, mutual fund, technical analysis, advanced option strategy, training solutions. So we basically train individuals. So as an investor, so let's say if you see that markets are going ahead and you are stuck up with that 7 to 8% FD interest rate with your investment, and want to learn and teach. We'll help in be an expert investor or your solutions to the corporates with stockbroking companies, mutual funds, exchanges, and all other kind of financial market participants who want their investors, sub-brokers, and other associates to get trained in the financial markets. So about Finalia, Finalia is again a company which is purely into the financial market education. They have centralized information platform for stock datas, BSE, NNC. They provide financial insights, corporate results, news and announcements, news related to public companies, mutual fund, ETFs, and IPO. So it is being delivering high-end financial research and data-oriented services and meeting the client's business requirement. So it's the Finalia is the largest financial widget gallery and calculators repository in India. So these are very handy tools when you do with your financial planning stuff. So this is the mutual fund screener of Finalia, which has fund screener, fund performance, fund portfolio, fund purpose, etc. Now, need of this particular webinar. So basically, mutual funds is a perfect investment opportunity or a perfect investment tool for a retail investor who want to start investing not only in equities but also in debt. And this is the only instrument which gives you a bouquet of equity debt at a same platform. Now, not more than 2% of the investors in India currently are directly exposed to the equity markets. Mutual funds have given the best returns vis-a-vis any asset other financial markets. Still, many retail investors have very wrong myths. They have wrong perceptions about the mutual fund industry. When we talk to the investors, retail investors, when we do our seminars and corporate seminars, the thing which we find among the retail investors which is stopping them to invest in the market is that hand-holding which can hand-hold them from the non-mutual fund investor to the mutual fund investor type. So this webinar will be focusing on mainly solving your queries on mutual fund, and will be helping you out to basically know what mutual fund is and how the mutual fund operates in the industry. So topics which we'll be covering. So basically, first we'll be taking up the investment basics. What are investment basics? Composition of a mutual fund, types of mutual fund, buy fund, some terms, charges, mode of entry and exit, how to choose a mutual fund. So firstly, what is an investment? So when I ask a question like this with our investors, that do you actually understand what investment is? You'll be surprised to know that 90% of the respondents who respond to this particular question, they in fact do not understand what an investment is. Or let's say I talk to a trader which trades regularly, which trades intraday in the financial markets or equity markets, they are literally nil about what an investment is. So investment is not stagnant but an ever-evolving process. So why I say it's an ever-evolving process, so let's say take an example of infrastructure mutual funds, or let's say infrastructure company. So let's say an example of DLF or an Unitech. So if you would have invested in DLF in somewhere around 2007, 2008, thinking it's India's largest company and you don't have to do anything else in the markets and your returns would come. So it was somewhere around 1,000 rupees, and it is today, it is, if I'm getting it right, somewhere around 100, 150 range stock. So this is what I mean, that it is not a stagnant thing. I per se is not of that particular category which say that you should invest for long term and forget. No. In today's financial markets, investments, either you invest via mutual fund where you don't have to worry about your stocks, where the fund manager takes that initiative, or if you are a direct investor in equities. The first and foremost thing to understand is that are you qualified enough to take your investment decisions? The answer in most cases is no. So when we talk to the retail investors, 90% of the retail investors are currently in losses in the markets. When we talk to the stock brokers whom we give our training solutions, and when we take webinars, seminars of those stock brokers, what is the reason that 90% of the investors which are trading into the equity or let's say commodity or currency markets are in the losses? The main reason is they do not do their homework first. Second is they are not qualified enough to invest in the markets. So when you invest in the market, you should have a clear-cut investment horizon as to, if I'm investing 1 lakh rupees today, what is my investment horizon? Is it 2 years, 5 years, 20 years, or forever? Second is asset class. So you will have to understand what asset class you invest into. Is it equity, is it debt, or it's a hybrid product, or it's a derivative product? risk and uncertainty, that's the critical and most important question which you need to answer. So when you talk about uncertainty, you will have to see and assess that the risk involved with a kind of asset is how much is the uncertainty with that particular asset, and are you capable enough or are you ready enough to manage those risks. Fourth is professional management, and this is the reason basically why mutual funds are there. So you and me maybe, or maybe a retail investor who works in an IT company, or maybe in an FMCG company, or maybe in a pharma company, he would not be capable enough, timely enough, and intelligent enough to manage his investments. And that is the reason why they burn their fingers in the equity markets or commodity markets, or for that matter any other financial instrument. So professional management of the funds is the very critical part of the whole asset management. Easy entry and exit. So when you talk about real estate as an investment, so it is very difficult for an investor to exit or maybe enter that particular asset class. Highly liquid. So when you talk about, let's say you have bought a real estate, and when you want to sell that real estate, there is no organized market or a exchange for real estate where you can go and list your property and the property gets sold. Transparent and adequately regulated. Now again, the mutual funds or the equity markets or the bond markets in India have evolved drastically since last let's decade or last 2 decades, and they are highly regulated. So you get NAV on a daily basis of your mutual fund, you get the fund expense ratio, you get the portfolio manager's details, you get the assets where the investor has the fund manager has invested. You also get to know the fund manager's future view in his fact sheet. So mutual fund per se is the most transparent instrument which I can see for a retail investor. So as an investor, you need to constantly keep track on markets, economy, and other investment dynamics to zero in for a perfect investment option. So now let us move towards the core mutual fund stuff. The mutual fund, how it is formed, what are the different parties which are there in a mutual fund. So first is the promoter, so or maybe sponsor. So it is like a promoter of the company who forms a trust which is registered with SEBI, the regulator of the financial market. There is a trust which is formed like a normal trust which is there. So it's a board of director of the mutual fund company which overlook the complete management of the fund. There is an AMC which is the asset management company. So the trust appoints the asset management company who manages the assets of that particular fund. There is a custodian who acts as the depository for holding the securities of a mutual fund. So there is a registrar and transfer agent. So this is the person where you can go and submit your investment or maybe withdrawal request forms. So mutual fund regulatory. So the main body which is regulating or making the rules for mutual funds is AMFI, which is Association of Mutual Fund in India. SEBI is the big boss of equities and all the investment or the securities per se in India, which is the watchdog of the whole mutual fund industry. Now how mutual fund works. So firstly, the investors need to choose a fund manager or a mutual fund where they want to invest. The mutual fund which they want to invest, they pay their amount to invest or buy units from that particular mutual fund. That fund manager invests the same money in the financial securities. There is a return, it could be positive or negative, which generates out of the mutual fund, which is again reinvested or maybe passed back as a dividend to the investors. So basically mutual fund is nothing but a person or an organization which is acting as your portfolio manager, and you pay a very small fees to that particular person to manage your assets. So types of mutual funds. So basically, mutual fund could be divided into three types based on geography, structure, and based on asset class. So based on geography, it could be an Indian mutual fund or an international mutual fund. We'll be discussing about this in the later slides which we have. Based on structure, it could be open or closed-ended. Based on asset class, equity, debt, hybrid, or maybe gold asset class. So based on structure, firstly. So when you talk about structure, there could be an open-ended and there could be a closed-ended mutual fund. When I talk about an open-ended mutual fund, it's a simple mutual fund where you can invest and redeem your funds anytime, any day which you want to exit. Closed-ended mutual fund is a mutual fund where there is a fixed date and a fixed lock-in period before which you cannot exit from that mutual fund. When we talk about the returns, what I have seen is that earlier the returns of a closed-ended mutual funds were presumed to be much more finer than the open-ended mutual fund, because there the fund manager knew what is the investment horizon and then he invested on that basis. But nowadays what I have seen is that the returns do not depend on the structure of the mutual fund but more on the fund manager and his research methodology. Now, equity mutual funds. It could be market-based, sector-based, tax planning, or an index fund or an arbitrage fund. So market cap based fund, it could be a small cap or a mid cap fund. The small cap is normally a fund wherein it invests in the small cap company. Mid cap or a large cap is a fund which invests mainly in the mid cap or the large cap stocks. Sector based, it could be a diversified or a sectorial mutual fund. So when we talk about a diversified mutual fund, it could be a mutual fund which could invest in IT, pharma, real estate, or any sector which you name it and they invest it. Sectorial mutual fund, so let's say a banking mutual fund, an infrastructure mutual fund, or let's say a service oriented mutual fund or a financial sector mutual fund would invest only in that particular sector. Tax planning mutual fund is a diversified mutual fund again, but you have to keep your money in that mutual fund for at least 3 years from the start date of your investment. Index or ETF, which we call index fund, is a mutual fund wherein you invest in a mutual fund which replicates almost 99.99% movement of an index. So the most common index fund is a Nifty ETF fund. Arbitrage fund is basically a fund which takes advantage of the arbitrage available on a stock in cash and the derivative segment. So basically, arbitrage fund qualified as an equity fund from the tax perspective, but gives the return of a debt fund, which is nowadays we have seen huge interest in the arbitrage funds. So market cap based fund, as you can see, it's a small cap fund, large cap, or mid cap fund. So it depends on what kind of stocks that particular mutual fund is investing. Again, sector based fund, diversified, which invests in every fund, sector fund which invests only a particular sector. Tax planning funds, also known as ELSS. So you have a section which is known as section 80C. Most of you hearing this webinar must have started their mutual fund investment journey mainly via this mutual fund, which is an ELSS, equity linked savings scheme mutual fund. Index fund is the most common index fund is Nifty BEES, which is benchmark equity exchange scheme. Arbitrage fund, as I have explained, so for example, Reliance is trading at 800 rupees in the cash market, and in future it is trading at 20 rupees. So what the fund manager would do is simultaneously buy equity share of that particular stock and sell the future contract of that particular stock in the derivative market, and then that 20 rupees difference at the end of the month would be his margin, which is a risk-free return which he generates out of that particular trade. Okay, now, so debt mutual fund. So basically, debt mutual fund is a fund wherein you invest in an instrument which gives the return in terms of interest. So, which is known as coupon or maybe interest rate of that particular mutual fund. So accrual return. So accrual return is normally, let's say if I have an instrument which gives a 12% per annum return, and the accrual return of that particular fund would be 1% per month. So capital gain is the gain which I get when I sell that particular interest, that particular mutual fund, that mutual fund. So there could be 4 types of debt mutual fund: liquid funds, gilt funds, FMP, and income plans. So gilt fund is basically a fund which invests in the Government of India bonds. So it is inversely related to the interest rate cycle. When the interest rate cycle is decreased, the GOI mutual funds rise or the gilt fund rise, and vice versa. Liquid fund is a short-term fund wherein it ranges from, if you want to invest for 1 to 90 days, you can invest in those kind of mutual funds. FMP, which is fixed maturity plan or income plan, is a mutual fund wherein it is a fixed duration debt instrument. So let's say there is an FMP which is of 3 years, which means that your money is locked for 3 years, and the fund manager accordingly will make investments only for 3-year maturity. Income plans again is a generic kind of debt mutual fund which invests in every kind of debt instrument. So it's a, you can say, a diversified debt instrument. When we talk about hybrid funds, so hybrid funds are basically those funds which are not a plain vanilla kind of funds. Funds such as balance fund, MIP, fund of fund, and childcare plans funds are there in that particular category. So balance fund, this is the best investment option for an investor who is both conservative and aggressive in his investment approach. So these funds invest around 65% in equity and 35% in the debt mutual funds. MIP or fund of funds. So MIP is monthly income plan. So this is basically a mutual fund which is suited for retired persons. So where the fund manager invests 70 to 80% in debt and rest in the blue chip stocks in the equity markets. The taxation of fees but is done as the debt mutual funds. Fund of fund is a fund wherein a mutual fund chooses to invest in different mutual funds. So let's say there is an ICICI Prudential fund of fund. So which could have ICICI Pru Discovery Fund, which could have ICICI Pru Gilt Fund, which could have ICICI Pru Tax Planning Fund, and different kind of funds. Child care plans are again set up sort of a quasi MIP fund. So this is basically a long-term fund wherein there is lower risk and lower or medium return which is given to the investors. Gold fund is a fund wherein the fund manager invests in the physical gold units, also known as gold ETFs, gold exchange traded funds. So nowadays what you can normally find is that 1 unit of gold mutual fund is equal to 1 gram price of gold. So this is how it is. And so especially for those who want to invest in gold for long term, for the marriages of, let's say they want their daughter's marriage after 20 years and they want to invest in the gold fund according to that. So you can keep around 5, 10%, 15% depending on the on your investment criteria. That kind of proportion could be invested in the gold mutual funds. So let us come directly to the transacting in mutual funds. So when we talk about transaction in mutual funds, there are two different modes to transact in a mutual fund. First is online and second is the offline mode of investment. So the online mode of investment has two options. First is via stock exchange and second is via the AMC's website. So earlier, the major hindrance for the investors to invest in mutual fund was that they have to regularly go to the AMC's office, fill up a physical form, and then the investment would be done. So nowadays, with the technology on its forefronts, the online investment of mutual fund is almost 30 to 40% of the whole investment which is done in the mutual fund AUM. BSE and NSE both have started their mutual fund platforms, I guess 2-3 years back, and BSE is doing around 50,000 transactions a day on its BSE Star mutual fund platform. What you normally have to do is, with the same demat and trading account which you have, you simply need to sign up a single pager form as a KYC for your mutual fund exchange. And similar to the way which you invest in the online equity or commodity markets, you have to go to the mutual fund section on the broker's portal, click on the mutual fund which you want to buy, investment, and then simply click pay. It could either take funds from your ledger account or it could ask for a fresh investment from the net banking or whatever mode of investment which is available on the broker's portal. On the AMC's website, so let's say you have a mutual fund of ICICI Prudential. So you simply need to go to icici-pru-amc.com, find out invest online option, click on that option, enter your folio number, a password would be generated, select the fund and go. So the online mutual fund investment mode is very helpful, especially for those guys who are working or who does not have time to fill up a physical form to invest in the mutual funds. Offline again, you can go to the AMC or via distributor. So the investment stage in a mutual fund. So either you can invest in a NFO, which is new fund offer. So this is when the AMC launches a mutual fund for the first time in the market, or an existing mutual fund which is already there. So post NFO, which is known as a existing fund offer. So the investment modes, what are the different investment modes which are available? So the foremost mode is known as lump sum investment. So let's say you have got 50,000 rupees or 1 lakh rupees as a bonus from your employer. You want to invest that particular amount somewhere, you do it as a lump sum investment. SIP, systematic investment plan, wherein you invest a particular amount systematically every month. So let's say you have done a SIP of 10,000 or 20,000 in a month, and you have fixed 7th as the date of the debit. So every 7th of the month, that particular amount would get debited from your bank account, would be created in your mutual fund account, and the mutual fund units equal to that particular amount would be credited to your mutual fund portfolio. STP, systematic transfer plan. So let's say you want to transfer an amount. So let's say I have been investing in mutual funds since when I was 25 years of age. So at 55 years of age, my fund value is somewhere around 50 lakh or 60 lakh or 1 crore rupees. Now I'll make an STP that every month, 10th of the month, 1 lakh rupees or 5 lakh rupees from my mutual fund folio should get liquidated and get invested in a debt fund. The reason being, when I'm at the end of my investment cycle or my accumulation cycle, a 10% dent in the NAV would simply mean a huge portfolio. So when I am at the end of my accumulation stage, it is ideally suggested to the investor that you should start an STP and start shifting your funds from a risky asset to the non-risky asset. SWP is basically a systematic withdrawal plan. It is a complete opposite of an SIP, where you systematically withdraw. Let's say you want to withdraw 20,000 or 30,000 every month from your fund. So also we'd like to say that if you guys have any queries, I suggest that you note down those queries and send us those queries at the end of the webinar, because currently we will not be in a position to take your queries, and we'll be taking all your queries at the end of the webinar. So if you have any queries, please keep them noted and shoot those queries at the end of the webinar via the chat options. We will be answering every of your queries. NAV. So NAV is the price at which you buy or sell the mutual fund, which is known as net asset value of the mutual fund. AUM is asset under management. So total asset which is there under the management of a mutual fund is known as AUM. Expense ratio. So you ought to see this particular term when you find or search a mutual fund. So lower the expense ratio, higher would be the return you will be getting. Entry load is the load which is charged when you enter a mutual fund. Exit load when you exit a mutual fund. Now direct NAV and a regular NAV, that's a very important thing. That's a very critical thing when it comes towards your investment returns. So SEBI has introduced two kind of NAVs in each and every mutual fund which you see. Direct NAV is an NAV when you buy directly through a mutual fund without using the services of a distributor. So that same distributor commission is being passed on towards the investors fund corpus, and that 1.5–2% of the distributor fees gets added to the mutual fund portfolio of the investor. But if you do not know much about mutual fund, and if you want to use the services of a distributor, you can go via regular NAV. So there could be two basic kind of returns. One is the capital gain return and the dividend income return. So when we talk about capital gain return, so capital gain return is when you invest, let's say 1 lakh rupees in a mutual fund, you get 1.20. So that 20K is your capital gain. Now on the other side, dividend income is the income which the mutual fund pays out of the surplus profit which it has after the booking of the profits. So dividend is paid as and when it gets generated in an equity fund. But if in a debt fund, you have a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly and annual dividend payout options. Now let us see the tax perspective. When you talk about equity funds, long-term capital is 0% with indexation for individuals, domestic or NRIs. When we talk about short-term capital gains for mutual fund, short-term capital gains, equity schemes 15% throughout, and debt scheme for an individual as per his income tax slab. For domestic company and NRI, for domestic companies it is 30%, and for NRIs again as an investor slab. Dividend distribution tax, it is nil on equity, but it is huge on debt. So I, as an advisor, would suggest, if you do not need money on a regular basis from a debt fund, you should not opt for a dividend payout option in a debt fund, because almost 25% of the dividend is eaten by the taxman. So TDS, which is only applicable to the NRI, for short term is 15% equity, for long term it is 50, nil. Debt it is 30%, and long term is 20% with indexation. So you also must be seeing this kind of color scheme in the mutual fund forms, mutual fund website, advertisements. So the blue color says that it is a low risk fund. The yellow color says it's for equity and debt, and it could be medium risk. And the brown color fund, which says that it's an equity and it could be a high risk to the capital. So this is what it simply means. Now let us move on to the core or the critical part of the whole webinar, that how you can choose a mutual fund. So basically, for choosing a mutual fund, it simply requires you to jot down your investment objective. So let's say a 25-year age or a 30-year age person which has an annual income of somewhere around 12 lakh or 15 lakh rupees, which makes, if you take 1 lakh rupees a month, his financial goals would be first retirement, which could be 30 years from now, tax saving, obviously, investment purpose, or maybe child's marriage or future education. Another goal could be buying a house, buying a car. So first you need to jot down all your investment objectives. Then you need to pick up an investment instrument where you would invest. So let's say your objective is retirement. The duration is 5 to 30 years. I've taken 5 years because I am taking an investor who is almost on the verge of retirement, and then he wakes up. You should purely invest in equity funds. If your investment objective is tax saving plus retirement or a long term, you should invest in ELSS funds. If your investment objective is investment plus safety, so let's say you have 5 lakh rupees with you, but you know that after maybe 1 year you will be using that money for buying your house, but you don't want to keep that 1 lakh rupees in the fixed deposit or bank. Best way to go out there is, and if you take some risk and if you are bullish on the equity markets, best way to go out is that invest in the balanced fund. If you want to park your money for short term, let's say I'm a business person and I've got 25 lakh rupees from sale of an asset or maybe from other sources, and I have that surplus for 9 months. So best is to invest in a liquid fund. If you want to play the interest rate game, invest in the gilt funds. If you want to play the arbitrage play, so invest in the arbitrage funds. So when you choose a mutual fund, which mutual fund you should choose? Fund rating. So ideally, there are many financial market websites which give a rating out of 5. So the best rating means that these fund guys, fund analysts have used huge research and given a 5-star rating depending on the past and projected future performance. So let's say if you are a new investor and after my webinar you are excited and want to invest in a mutual fund, best way to choose a mutual fund is the star rating. You have to do nothing. Go out there and invest in the highest star of a mutual fund. No other rocket science which you need. But if you want to go deep down in the research of a mutual fund, see the past performance of their mutual fund ranging from 3 months to 5 years. So as long as mutual fund is there and as long as it has outbeaten the index, you should bank on that particular fund manager. AUM, a higher AUM would ideally means a lower fund expense, but it is not a core decision maker of your fund investment. Direct or regular. Now, I would highly suggest that if you could track your mutual funds online by self, you should invest in the direct option of the mutual fund. But if you cannot track your mutual funds, it is ideally suggested that you should invest via a advisor or a distributor. So AUM, which I keep on saying, is asset under management. So let's say the AUM of ICICI Prudential or maybe Reliance Mutual Fund is 1 lakh crore, which means so this is the amount which the mutual fund company is managing for the investors. So with this, we are at the end of the webinar, and we'll now be opening the forum for the queries which you have, and I've already got some queries. So if you have any queries, you can just send these queries via the chat option. So in the meantime, let me see those queries and let me start answering those queries for you. So if you have any other queries, you can just send your queries to us. Okay. Okay. So I have got a query from a participant which has 3 questions in one. So first is the question regarding the ULIP. How is ULIP rated and how the long-term investment? So first is I'd like to share, and which I guess most of you must be knowing from by now, that ULIP is the most opaque financial instrument, most least transparent financial instrument which is there in the financial markets. There are 2 kinds of ULIPs per se. First is a ULIP which gives a guaranteed return. Which is a very fancy name which they have kept. I would suggest that you should never opt for a guaranteed return mutual fund, because if you see that at the end of the day, the return which you get is not more than 6.5%, 7%, or maximum 7.5%, 8% out of that mutual fund, and that too only at the end of the period, which is even less than the fixed deposit. Second kind of ULIP is where it invests in different kind of portfolios, diversified, balanced, and debt portfolio. So as far as I know, the ULIP, every ULIP updates its NAV at 3 p.m. Or maybe the next day on its website. So you can go to the ULIP website and see the NAV. So he has also asked me some good mutual funds to invest. So I would suggest that you should, it again depends on your investment horizon. So I'm assuming that you want to invest in a diversified or a pure equity mutual fund. I would suggest you should go in for an IDFC Premier Equity Fund or a ICICI Prudential Discovery Fund, HDFC Top 200 Fund, or maybe a Reliance Vision Fund. So these are 4 or 5 funds which are top of my mind, and these are good star rated funds. Some good tax saving mutual funds could be Reliance Tax Saver, Axis Tax Saver, ICICI Prudential Tax Saver. These 3 funds are there which I think could be a good investment for a long-term perspective. Another question from the same participant is, what is a liquid fund? A liquid fund is an instrument which invests in commercial papers, bank rate, call money markets, basically the short-term money markets. You can get around 7.5%, 8.5%, 9% from those liquid funds. The best advantage of a liquid fund is there is an article on our website also, which is edfin.co.in. You can find it a good article on our liquid funds. Is that liquid funds do not charge an exit load. So let's say you've invested today, you can exit tomorrow. You will not be charged an exit fund when you exit from a liquid fund. The price mismatch which is there in the cash and derivative market, so that is known as an arbitrage. Okay, so that's a great question which is coming to me from the ELSS perspective, and I'd be more than happy to answer that. Okay, So let's say a trader, an investor has started SIP in an ELSS fund on 1st of January 2000. Every first of the month there would be an SIP investment which will be done in the mutual fund of that particular investor. So let's say on 31st December 2003, can he redeem all his units? The answer is a straight no. Every SIP unit can be redeemed only after 3 years of your investment date. Doesn't matter you have invested in the same folio or different folios. So if you are investing in an ELSS fund, you can not exit before 3 years of your investment dates. That's it. So it was a good question, and it could be a doubt with most of the investors. Okay, so another question is that how can you keep your mutual fund investors investment keep ticking? I also presume that most of you guys which are there on the webinar is from are a working professional or are salaried persons, and what I suggest to a salaried person is that the formula for your expenses should be income minus expenses minus saving, and the amount which is left after saving should be the amount of your surplus leisure investment. So let's say I earn or you earn 1 lakh rupees a month. You have an expense of 50,000 rupees a month, which is leaving you with 50,000 rupees. After your compulsory expenses, you should then save your money or invest your money. Let's say you invest 30,000 rupees, and that 20,000 rupees which is left should be then used for your entertainment purposes. Nowadays, it is the other way around. You first invest in your entertainment stuff, and then you think of saving. I suggest first you save, and then whatever is less should be used for the entertainment purposes. So for a recurring investment, the best way is to do an SIP. The best thing which I say, or the best thing which can happen to an investor is an SIP. Do an SIP. So let's say you have 20,000, 30,000 rupees left every month in your kitty, in your bank account. You are 30 years of age. Put 60% of your money into 2 or 3 different diversified mutual fund, and that 40% amount, 20% into the balanced fund, 10% in a gold mutual fund, and the remaining 10% in the debt mutual fund. So this is how you should divide your investment if you are a 30 years of age person. Okay, again a good question. So if you do a investment for 5 years SIP, and earlier it was a 5-star rated, and then later on it is a 4-star or 3-star rating, should you jump from the mutual fund? No. Now here is the point where the mutual fund advisor come into the picture. It does not necessarily means that a fund which has a 3-star rating today would always have a 3-star or a 2-star or a 5-star rating going forward. It depends on why it has gone to the 3-star rating from 5-star. What is the fund manager's past performance? What is the holding of the mutual funds, the stocks which that mutual fund has? What is the current market which is there? So these are all points which are which needs to be kept in the mind when you invest in the mutual fund and when you shift a mutual fund. Okay, RGES, Rajiv Gandhi Equity Savings Scheme, that was a that was a gift from the Congress government to their so-called forefathers, but sadly that scheme has dumbed down, and the current NDA government is not promoting that scheme. And I would also suggest that you should not invest aggressively in the RGES scheme, because the system of tax calculation is too tedious for a retail investor to understand. And if I start discussing about RGES, 90% of you would be confused, so I'll not touch that particular topic now. So for a 30 years age of person, which SIP is better or a lump sum is better? So if you have lump sum money kept in your account, let's say you have 10 lakh rupees in your FD, put 7.5, 8 lakh rupees into the mutual fund, and not blindly, I would say, talk to an investment advisor, and it is much cheaper to pay the fees of an investment advisor. We keep on getting these kind of queries on our portal also, that should you go in for a direct or a regular NAV. I suggest that if you are a expert in a financial market, then you should opt for a direct. But if you are a working professional and you cannot track the market, it is best to go to a financial planner, pay his fees, get the expert advice, and then invest in the market. So for a 30 years of age, you should have already started your SIP by today. If you have not done it, start it right away. Yes, so when I talk about SIP, you can fix that amount to be invested each month. So let's say 10,000, you want to get invested on 10th of every month. So 10th of every month, ECS would run and your bank account would be debited with 10,000 rupees, and your mutual fund account would be credited with again those 10,000 rupees. So the fund companies to invest in, I would like to, they've asked me again to suggest those fund companies. HDFC Top 200, Reliance Vision Fund, ICICI Pru Discovery Fund, as IDFC Premier Fund. So one of our participant had invested some 20,000 in HDFC Equity Fund. He has stopped the SIP, but the money is there. So what should he do? So if you do not need that money, I would suggest you should start your SIP again. So there is again a Franklin Prima MF which guarantees maximum return per money. So I do not feel that a mutual fund could guarantee you a maximum return. It is only possible in a ULIP, and that is nothing but a debt game. So that's a fooling game. So do not get get preyed out of those fixed return mutual fund kind of stuff when you go to invest in ULIP. There is nothing known as guaranteed in this market. So overall exit loads are not more than 1.5% of the fund fees. So what is better, mutual fund or junior Nifty? Any day mutual fund is better than any benchmark exchange fund. Yes, SIP is always better for a mutual fund investor. Is there a mutual fund which offer term plan? I guess there is a mutual fund of Aditya Birla AMC which offers a term plan also, and if I'm getting it right, although I should suggest you should not opt for a term plan along with your mutual fund because it has too many riders. So, but I guess Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund offers this particular thing. Reliance Mutual Fund also offers this particular stuff. So with that, I guess we are at the end of the questions, and if you have some more questions left, we'll be more than happy to answer, or we can end this webinar now. So if you have any further questions, feel free to shoot those questions to us, and we'll be more than happy to answer. So if you have our email ID there on the screen, you have our websites there on our screen. You can log into our website. You can shoot a mail to our email IDs. You can get our numbers also. My personal number is also there on my website, which is edfin.co.in. You can anytime you can reach us. You can also go to the Finalia's mutual fund page, which I can also share that particular page with you guys. Okay. So we have got another question that what will be the good time to exit for SIP? Started in 2008, ended in 2001. Should I wait for the markets to grow? Okay. So that's a question which has a very simple and which has a very complicated answer both. So if you really feel that Indian economy is there to survive, Indian economy is there to grow, you should ideally keep your money in the mutual funds till the day you need that particular money. My only answer is invest, invest, and invest in mutual fund. Do not think of exiting the mutual fund. In year 2008, when the markets were at top, and 2011-10, when the markets were at the bottom, we got huge queries out of our clients that whether they should continue investing or not. In fact, my only statement was that keep on investing in the mutual fund industry, in the Indian industry, at least for next 15 years. The day we are ahead of US economy, that is the day where you can start redeeming your money, because that is the ceiling which Indian economy can see. And I think 2030 is the time where our economy can maybe surpass surpass the US economy. So if you have invested some amount, do not think of redeeming if you don't seriously need that money. So I think we do not have any further questions, and we'd like to end this webinar. Thanks everybody for attending this webinar. Thanks on behalf of Finalia and Edfin. If you have any queries, you have all the details on your screen. You can log into our website, or you can put us a mail on any of the websites. So I'll now hand over the floor to to Rituraj, and if he wants to add something, Rituraj.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ashish. That was a very interesting presentation. I guess the audience had a lot to learn. The questions were really helpful. Any more questions, Ashish? I don't think so.
No, I don't see any further questions on the.
All right. So, guys, if you have any questions, you can email to teamfinalaya@finalaya.com. That is TEAMFINALAYA @finalaya.com. Yeah, it's in the footer. So you guys can send your questions. So we will be coming up with some interesting webinars the coming month. So stay tuned. Yeah, that's all I guess, Ashish.
Yeah, thanks. So we'll be ending this webinar. Thanks again, everybody, for attending. Thanks. We are ending this webinar now. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.